Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Morning Gardener, and I am glad to be back here in front of this gardening audience. This is incredible. I did plant some seeds 4 days ago, and they're already up. They're already up. I couldn't believe it. Um, the temperatures have been cooperating, is what I'm getting to here, and I feel pretty good about that. So. This is not going to be hello. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is going to be a quick one today because it's barely anybody in the room most of the time, so I don't want to lean on too many people's time. But I just want to say that I really appreciated everybody coming in and making it show what it is. I really enjoy this. I like sitting in front of people and talking and giving information out. And I got on my seed quest about four or 5 days ago. I started collecting all my materials, and I got some of my seeds started. And lo and behold, playing in my backyard, playing in my yard. Excuse me. Good evening to you as well. Hello, how you doing? Caught another live one. Yes, you did another live one. I like that. So what I did was, hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Um, I am so excited today because the seeds that I put in 3 or 4 days ago are already up. They already up. I went down today and just imagine this. I walked by them last night when I went out to work, came in this evening, well, this morning, walked right by them, tired, dragging. And then I said, okay, let me go out there today while I was cooking. And I cook real weird. I cook breakfast in the evening and all that kind of stuff. So I eat kind of strange. But I went back and looked at them. I said, let me just check and see if I planted some eggplants because I didn't put my eggplants in. So what I did, I walked by and I saw green inside one of the one of the plant trays. And I said, wait a minute. Now I've had them come in early before and when I did seeds before, but never like this. What is going on? And there they were. Watermelon seeds germinated. Uh, the seeds that I had germinated, and let me just say this: those seeds, a lot of the seeds that I had in there that germinated, some of the ones that germinated, including the ones I just got from the company there, which is Pop Seeds. Um, they germinated, and I had some that was like 5 years old. They germinated in less than about, like I said, about 3 or 4 days. They germinated. What's causing this? Uh, uh, my take on it is that the trays that I have them under have a thermostat control, and it keeps them at the temperature that I decide to put them at that's good for them. And I simply just go out and I Google what my best temperature is for these particular plants, and I find a rounded off number where I want to put them at, like about 80 degrees for peppers and tomatoes, that sort of thing. And I set one mat at that, and I set one mat at 75. For instance, excuse me, and that really helped me out a great deal. I'm learning how to set, because I don't mess with a lot of gadgets. I like the old way of gardening. You put it in there and you stick your finger in there and you see if you need moisture or how warm the soil is. But now I'm getting into this where I can go ahead and set the thermostat. And I bought the thermostat, by the way, on eBay. And it's a thermostat control. If you decide to go get one, you want the one that controls um, two mats. You don't want one mat. Let me see if I have the box here. I still have the box. I'm not selling this product. I'm not promoting this product for that. I'm just saying I bought one for $10. And let's see, for better temperature control, please use the version. These are scan codes. I don't understand what they mean here, but oh, wait a minute, just got a phone number here. I never called that number. Might call them tomorrow and see what they're talking about. Because there's something else I can learn about my new, well, it's not new. This thing is about, is it 2 years old? Yeah, 2 years old. And so at any rate, I went ahead and bought a thermostat control because I got tired of putting seeds on there and that thing getting up around 95 degrees and all that and burning up my seeds. So I said, I can't keep having that happen and not know what's going on. And so when that happens, I said, I can't keep doing this. So that's my little adventure there. No, and look, and I bought this here about a year ago. You've seen these before in the stores. I think that's a better picture of it. And I'm not selling this, by the way. I'm just saying I bought one. And this is going to be used to do foliar feeding. Foliar feeding, because it's a perfect size for my garden. It's not a real big garden, but it'll do the job the way I want it. I got tired of the little cheap ones that I was buying, and they kept collapsing on me. You buy them this year, and the next year they don't work because the seals are leaking and all of that. So I said, heck with that. I'm not going to keep doing that. Multi-use sprayer. And you can actually spray fertilizers on there and just get it done. You know, just get it done. It's a beautiful thing. And one thing I never got with it was, I think I might have got it with it was a nozzle. It's a nozzle that goes with it that changes how it sprays. You can spray a fine mist, or you can spray stream, whatever, and you could do it that way. But anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. This video is about getting your seeds to germinate and getting your seeds to germinate a little faster. And I was talking about temperature is very important. And the other one is not only just the temperature, but you see how I've been, my seeds are not dug in. I'm not listening to people, what they be saying anymore about the stuff they be telling me back in the day when I started gardening. The books that I remember reading through, and a lot of them was wrong. It was just wrong. I'm not saying every book is wrong, but some of this stuff is just wrong. I don't know where they get the information from, but it didn't work for me. But I sprinkle my seeds on top. I look at nature and I watch nature and I says, wait a minute, how does nature plant the seeds? She'll have the okra seed grow up. It'll pop open the pod. It'll drop the seeds to the ground. Once the seeds drop to the ground, the seeds will simply lay on the ground and receive moisture and temperature and just by them being in contact with the soil, they will then later crack the hull and drive their roots down into the ground, anchor themselves where they can feed and do what they need to do, and then the plant will come to the top. And it'll keep doing this process for years and years and years. Plants don't need human beings to put them under the soil, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, all of that. They don't need that. If you take a watermelon and leave it out into a field and let it ripen, and you let that watermelon ripen until it rots away and the seeds hit the surface, guess what it'll do next year? It'll plant itself. Doesn't need you to dig the seed in like the books say. Don't need us at all. Thank you very much. Playing in my yard. It don't need us at all. The seeds will hit the ground, and when the time is right, if the birds don't eat up the seeds, if other critters don't eat up the seeds, then the seeds will replant, and there'll be watermelons started there again. Only the watermelons will be in higher numbers because one watermelon carries a lot of seeds. So the only ones that will survive, the way nature said it for, will be the strongest seeds that will survive. And then it will produce fruit. The fruits will then again rot, lay on the ground. Seeds will germinate when the temperature is right, and it will start the process all over again. It doesn't need you to do that. So why am I digging seeds in the ground? Why am I putting it under the ground? I know it works, but what I found that works better for me is that when you lay them on top, it doesn't have to push any soil aside. It doesn't have to be underneath a cold or cool environment. It'd be under the temperature of my room. My room is 70 degrees. Now, think about that. The room's 7 degrees. I got the heat mats going. The seeds are sitting on top. Only thing is on top of those seeds is some perlite. I mean, excuse me, not perlite, vermiculite. Now, why the vermiculite there? Some people know, but just in case you don't know, it is there for one purpose. For me, is to put the seeds in what they call a moist state. It keeps water on top of that seed, and that's what vermiculite does. So when that seed lays there with that vermiculite on top, and it's not buried in vermiculite, it's got vermiculite just enough to cover the seed to keep it moist. And when that happens, that seed germinates. That seed germinates, and you can do many of it different ways. There are many ways to do different things you need to do. Some people actually take some of their seed starter mix and they sift it, and they put that on top because they want something so light and fluffy on top of the seed, which I actually agree with that. I say volunteer watermelons are better than the ones you planted. Oh my goodness! Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Volunteer watermelons are better than the ones you actually plant. Man comes in and does it his way. Nature says, no, that's not how I want to do it. That's not how I want to do it. And you wound up putting 20 seeds in the ground and getting 15 to germinate because of something you did incorrect, or the seed wasn't strong enough to come up through the soil. The way I do it is laying them on top. And within about 3 to 4 days, they come up. When, according to what they write in the seed pack, it'll say, we'll germinate. Now, let's see something here. We'll germinate in 7 days and all that kind of stuff. And here's some seeds here. They're onions. Now, what did I do with these just now? I just planted these onions. And all I did, well, there's a lot of onions and onion seeds in this pack. What I did with these onions here was just laid out my soil mix, sprinkle them on top, put the vermiculite on top of that, squirt to moisten the vermiculite, and left it alone. And these will germinate just fine. It won't have no issues. And I guarantee you they'll be up in about 3 to 4 days. They'll be up. Same thing with these big seeds here. Big seeds. In case some of you aren't familiar with what size they are, I'll show you. These are the size of the seeds. And that seed right there was not planted in the soil. It was laid on top, covered with vermiculite, watered, and left alone. And it will germinate in 2 to 3 days. These are beautiful seeds, by the way. These are super sugar snap. Super sugar snap. And I just would like to be able to see stuff clearly written on these packs. I want to find out if these are heirlooms or if they're hybrids. And a lot of times I'll see. Now, here's a word here, the buzzword, improved sugar. See, improved means that man's done tampered with it. So it might be some kind of hybrid. And I feel so good today. Improved sugar snap peas with plump early pods. Disease resistant. This is a hybrid. This is a hybrid, guaranteed. And then I went down and I did another one, which was Black Beauty eggplants. Black Beauty eggplants. Not many left. Well, it's probably about 30 some seeds left, maybe more. Sprinkled on top, vermiculite, moistened down, and left alone. And that's what I did. And it was just that simple. I'm not in the business of covering seeds over and waiting forever. No, I don't want to do that. Did you ever get the labels from Pops? I can't wait for Oh yeah. They look. I want you to do me. Well, I wish you would hit me up when you get them because they're in the mail now. And how do I know that? Because I put them in the mail. So the seeds are in the mail. They're on their way to you. Um, to the well, I don't remember exactly who won everything, but were you the one of the people that won some of the seeds? Because I'm sorry, I just been kind of busy here lately. But yeah, the seeds are in the mail. Yes, they are. I knew somebody was going to ask me about them seeds though, because it has been a while. I mean, I admit that it has been a while. That was our first time doing it, and got them out, got them done. I dropped them in the mail. I even counted each pack when they went in the mail, make sure all 5 went out. So when you receive them, you'll be like, "Oh my goodness!" When you see it, and it's a lot in the pack. Let's see. Yep, and you've been feeling bad, so I got it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just be glad when everybody get it because you're gonna be surprised. Now they put some good selection in their pack. They put some good stuff in there because I mean I planted some of it this year, and I want to see how I know it's going to do well. I looked at the seeds, the grade of the seeds. I'm looking at them and said, "Hey, these were hand picked, like you said." They hand pick their stuff. Make sure that a guy doesn't just come there and shove a box in their face and say, "Okay, these are 3,000 of these. These are 400." No, look at them, see what's in there. Like we did back in the day at the restaurant when the fish would come in there. And they had me receive the fish, and I was the one learned from my father. So years ago, he had a fish stand and or business, and you look under the gills, you look under the eyes, the skin. You can poke if it's got a bounce to it. It's fresher than something that's been sitting around. Because buying fish at the market, just because they put that little sign that said fresh, don't mean anything. I mean, because I worked at fish markets that when I'm run by them, and the fish was over 3 weeks old, and every day we put that sign out there like it's that said fresh, and the fish was old, and I would try to help people out and tell them don't get that fish, and they would say why not? I said this fish has got a birthday coming up, I would say stuff like that, and then they said well which ones to get? I said here, get these here. These just came in today. And all the older women that were coming there that were on low income and getting their check once a month through Social Security, I would help them with their fish. I would say, listen, get these. They just came in today, and these over here just came in today. She said, I said, how much do you want? They said $8. And I would gut the fish, take the heads off, and then I would weigh them. Every little bit helps because these were older women. They were trying to survive. So that being said, that's what I did back in my earlier years, and just trying to help. And I know that didn't help the band. It was the big, massive, powerful company that I was working for. But I said, this lady, she don't have enough money to eat. She's not gonna make it. I said, let me see what I can do here. And that being done, it's like when I grow food, I give away food to people. Sometimes certain people, they can afford, and but some just didn't have it. Yep. So get your seeds in the ground. Do what you got to do. I got my seeds in the ground. I'm waiting on the peppers. Some of the peppers started coming up already. I did a very poor job marking everything. I did because I said I just didn't feel like marking them. And then later on when I had a friend of mine talk to me, and she said, "Yeah, you want to mark that stuff because if you don't mark it, you don't know what date you put it in. You don't know what's in them containers." I said, "I know them when I see them, and yeah, when they get a certain size, I know tomatoes from a pepper plant, but." After that, I just started marking everything. So I got maybe 2 items that aren't marked. Peppers, they're not marked as far as which pepper they are. Let's say you put them in the ground. You put them in the ground this early. No, what I do is this. I don't put them in the ground early. Here's what I do. The items that can be put in the ground, they go in the ground. Like these peas right here, they can be planted early. Now, everything is dependent upon temperature when you start putting things out there in the ground. Peppers like it warm. You put them out there in some wet, cold soil, you're going to have some issues with the plants. You're going to cause stunning, or they'll start rooting. They'll just sit there and the roots will start rotting, and then you've got a plant that's dying. For you, he's going, what is going on here? And it is dying. So that being said, no, you gauge temperature on everything. You let everything grow until it's time to put it out. Peppers are going to go out when I start seeing temperatures like at night, when temperatures start getting in the 60s. I'll start putting the peppers out. Same thing go with what they call it, tomatoes. But let's see, okra and stuff like that, hot season plants, different plan for them. They usually are the last thing you'll put out there on your property is okra. But I made a promise to myself that majority of what I put in the ground this year will not be by seed, because you put seeds out there and they die or they don't germinate and you don't know what's going on and all that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Not this year. So everything from onions to watermelons to squash, you name it, has all been started indoors. Now, I do have an exception to that rule. Corn will go directly in the garden because I have a unique way I want to plant that this year. See, this year, there will be little to absolutely no digging in my yard. None. I want to make certain that I keep that promise, because each year I do less and less digging in my garden. And I want it done that way, because everything that's laid on top of my garden now is old weeds and grass and everything that fell over the winter. And so what I'm gonna do is run the lawnmower over and chop all that down, and chop it all up and everything, and leave it right on the surface. Then I'm gonna use my lawnmower to collect grass clippings, and I will mulch around my plants with the grass clippings, because I get lots of grass every year. Never know really what to do with it. And I said, wait a minute, instead of going there and paying $10 for a bale of straw, why don't you just use your own grass? So I purchased a lawnmower that does have a bagging feature, and that's going to be used to help fertilize my plants, and also to insulate my plants from the ground getting too hot when the summer heat hits it, and it's out there beaming all day, and that ground can get up to 110 or higher degrees. And I don't want my plants suffering like that. I want my plants to have a mulch around them, a blanket of mulch 15 inches around each plant. And that's my goal. And when I have that going on, or some wood chips or some grass clippings, and you put that around the plants, and they keep the soil temperature, keep the soil temperature from going through extremes. Also keeps around the plant moist. And you also have a situation where the plants are getting nutrients from the grass clippings, and that's what you want to do. The importance of watering your plant is a key thing, but you want to make sure that you don't every day have to go out there every 2 or 3 days and water, because when you do that, you're washing away your nutrients. The fertilizers that you put around that plant is being washed away. You may get that even when it rains, that it washes away, but you don't want to continue to have your plants nutrients washed away. So what do? You put mulch around it, so when you do fertilize, the fertilizer stays there, because you don't have to water as much. You don't have to water as much because the plants are staying moist because of the mulch that's around the plant. And your plants will actually grow better once they end up, and they'll keep growing if you put mulch around. You can mulch flower pots that you have plants in to keep them cool and moist on top. And so when you do lift back the mulch and you put down your fertilizer for that particular crop, it grows, does a beautiful job. You don't have to worry about extreme temperatures or lack of water or constantly fertilizing, because the grass clipping is going to be breaking down and they will be feeding your plants. That's it. Let's see what we got here. I say, how are you planting your... Okay, now I think I understand what you're saying. You're asking me how. Let's see. Having time to with .com says in Florida zones 9B. Let's see. How do you plant your... Oh, that okay. I can see it now. That's corn. You wrote there. Man, my eyes are getting bad. I kept looking at it. That's why I kept looking at it. I said, what is this here she wrote? What is this here? I mean, the person wrote. And so, okay, so here's what I'm saying here. Every hello. Yeah, she got in here a little late, but she got here though. That's the thing about it. Let's see. I hope you had a pleasant day today. I meant to say that, but I'm just focused on this question here. Let's see. How are you planting your corn? Okay, here's how I'm planting my corn. I have as a partner of mine, a buddy of mine. He gave me these poles one time, and they're nothing but heavy rods. I don't know what they for, what kind of machinery they came off or whatever. But they're long rods. They're about 3 feet long. They're heavy steel rods. Got a point on one end. I don't know what they for. I have no idea. And hello. Don't want me to forget anybody. And what happened was I had them sitting around and I started using them for different purposes, you know. And one day I started poking them in the ground, drop them down about 6 inches. I have a video on it. If you ever see one of my videos that shows a white funnel. At any rate, I'm pouring fertilizer right into the ground, 6 inches deep, 4 inches deep, depending on where I want it to go, around trees. I'm feeding them right at their roots. And I did that. Trees jump out of the ground when you do that. Jump out of the ground. So this year, I'll be using the same poker, except for with the funnel and all. And I'll go down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and I'll drop 2 seeds in, move to the next hole, 2 seeds in, and I'll fill those holes with compost. And that will be planting my corn. So in other words, the corn will not be dug and tilled and none of that stuff. It will just be poked in, put in, and moved on. I'm putting 2 seeds per hole because sometimes corn has this habit of having a poor germination with the seeds. So I want to make certain that they germinate. Now, whatever comes up first is the one that will survive. But yeah, there'll be a hole poked, and then I will fill the hole with compost. And the corn are going to do just great. I've done it in the past. I think a year, maybe 2 years ago, and the corn would come up and do fine. Because when you start digging in your soil, you actually do your soil harm. I'm learning you don't have to. All my plants that I'm doing this year, all the peppers, all the peppers and eggplant and things of that nature, they won't be dug in. They can just be set on top, and it'll be a mound built around them of good high quality super soil. I'm creating my own super soil, and the super soil will allow me to put everything that plant needs, because everything falls through gravity. And so by putting the amendments on top, it will fall through to the roots. Some people will dig a hole and fertilize the hole. Well, that's kind of backwards, because everything falls away from, when it falls downward, away from the roots. I don't want it to fall away. I want it to fall right into the roots. And that's how I want to do it. So that means that the the system that I'm using is putting everything on top of the soil. The roots will drive down into the ground. They will have their food supply on top. It will be washed by rain. It will be gravity forcing everything downward, and that's how I'm gonna do it. Now, also, they will get a booster fertilizer on a weekly basis, and it's going to be on, folks. It's going to be on. So the granulated fertilizer, which is organic fertilizer, and that will be put in at the when it's being put in the ground. It's going to be used, in that method. But there'll be a weekly fertilizer and there'll be a monthly fertilizer. The monthly fertilizer will be put down at the base of the plant. Like I said, it'll be put down at the base like a side dressing, and it will fall downward. You do not have to. I don't know where this came from, that you always have to dig soil. You don't always have to dig soil. Depends on your soil. And I have clay soil, and most of us have clay soil. And so that being said, I want to make certain that, let me see what that is over there. Okay, there's nothing there I need to worry about right now, 2017. And so that's what I'm doing, folks. And I want to tell some of you to go out there and experience doing some new stuff with your plants and stuff. Don't go by all of this stuff that you're getting on the internet. These people put this in your soil and put that in your soil and make sure you do this with your soil, and they're not telling you to really know what condition your soil's in from the jump, from the beginning. But they're telling you to put all this stuff in there. It was one gentleman was telling people put banana peels and eggshells in the ground and all that. Oh, that's fine, but don't expect eggshells to be available to fertilize your plants. It takes time for that stuff to break down. It takes months for some of that stuff to break down. In time, you'll already be eating tomatoes before the eggshells in the ground even do any good. Eggshells are good for doing one thing: feeding your soil. It's it, adding more nutrients to your soil. So if you're going to use eggshells, don't say, well, I'm fertilizing my plant with eggshell. If you want to fertilize with eggshells, you can put it in there in fall, let it go all the way through the winter, and then put your plant in that location. And then now you got a chance for your plant to benefit from the eggshells for this year. But no, you don't want to put it in there and think it's going to be ready this year. The same thing what people be doing this year, they'll be putting in fertilizers that take, when you take granulated fertilizers and put it in the ground, sometimes it takes at least 3 weeks before it to start breaking down. Hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing? We were just talking about the seed packets, and they're on their way. They're in the mail. Yep. They're on their way. Seeds are on their way. Mr. Price. And so if you follow nature's way, let's see, I can't wait to garden. I'm in upstate New York. Oh, absolutely. I'm with you on that. It's a hard waiting on to do a garden. Because you want to do it, you want to get started. It's a fascinating thing to do. I'm with you on that. What's the best cabbage to sow? Something called all season cabbage. All season is a great cabbage to start with, because it'll grow in the spring, summer, and fall. That's what you want. Yep. Put that in the ground. Because I start, wait a minute, what? Yeah, I have some growing. I have some, well, mine was started indoors. My cabbage was started indoors, so that's how it is. We only got a few more minutes, folks. If you got any questions or comments or anything, please make them present, because I am here as the morning gardener to see that we get as much information as we can out there so we can all jump in it and get this thing started. I talked to a gentleman this morning at work. He bought his very first peach tree, and he was happy. he was so happy, and I'll keep telling him things about the tree, but some of the things kind of sound harsh to him. He said, "What do you mean I cut it off? Cut it off?" I said, "Yeah, you cut it off." I said, "If you want to start branching out at a certain point, I said you want to do this with it." And I said, don't fertilize that tree when you first put it in the ground. It's like a tree is like a child. If you give it a video game and a plate full of food and snacks and a TV remote, they'll lay there on that couch forever. But if you put the tree in the ground and water it in and let the tree start to show signs of growth, then what will happen is that tree will do better. And then you fertilize once you see it's showing signs of growth. Then you fertilize. But you don't put fertilizer in. I see people put fertilizer in compost and something in the ground called all kind of what they call. Oh man, I can't even think of it right now. It's a type of back. It's a. Oh, I can't think of it right now. But it's it's a powder they put on the roots. I can't think of it right now. But they add it to bags of fertilizer. I can't think of it right now at this point. But you want to make certain that you do have trees growing naturally from your soil, so they can get familiar with your soil. And then if you want to give them a little boost, yeah, put a little fertilizer around them once they start showing signs of growth. And then you fertilize them a bit, and then they'll do the rest. The first year is the most taxing, so you stay on it, follow it, check to make sure the tree doesn't fail because of lack of water. But trees are meant to survive. They'll find food as long as the soil has some nutrients in it. It'll find it. That's what you want to do. Mycorrhizae or something like that. They sprinkle on the roots. I think that's what they call it. And you don't need all that. You just don't need all that. I mean, my God, when I see people do stuff like that, it gives me an incredible headache because I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wait a minute. So the trees in the forest, I wonder how they made it if nobody was sprinkling mycorrhizae on their roots. And then you see this tree in the forest and you look up and it's as tall as it wants to be and it's beautiful green and it's massive and nobody put no mycorrhizae on the roots or compost at the roots while it was growing. No one did that, and yet it still made it. Come on. So some of the stuff is just it needs something to do, and I guess that's what it is. Hello, first time using heating. Okay. They call it pads. He called it pads. Okay, and grow lights. Those are trays in Colorado. Seems like I need to water it more often. Is this correct? You use your finger as an indicator. Sometimes you're running out of moisture in the pan because if you have plants in there and they done got too big for that one particular cell, then they're drinking up the water. And also the lights do draw and do evaporate some of your water. But yeah, you want to keep your plants moist. Don't overwater. That is a sin that most gardeners run into, either underwatering or overwatering. You want them to be moist, not wet. And you want to make certain that you keep that up because if you got them inside, you can lose them plants just like that. If you forget to water one day and they dry up or you go too long between waterings, I'll put it that way. And that's all I want to say on that note. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Morning Gardener Show. And I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I got 11 thumbs up. I got 15 people in the room. People are starting to come see me now. I appreciate that. And I want to thank each and every one of you because I keep going back and forward to your videos. I'm just checking for gardening videos and I want to see those garden videos. But you know, I know you got a busy life and it's going to take a little time for some of you to get out there and get the garden started. But do that for me, get them started. Because I think we're in for a rough year. I want to make sure we grow as much fresh food as we can. This has been the Morning Gardener Show, folks. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much. And remember to keep on growing. This is the Morning Gardener.